That's kind of what I'm thinking.
We're going to have cool music.
You know, like my dough shot, you know, a couple of the bucks we videoed and stuff this year. Kind of make a nice intro and then an outro or something like that.
And then you, I would like your acoustic as the background.
I could get something jamming.
That's exactly what I was just thinking because I still haven't heard him play the guitar yet.
Well, if you ask me real nice, Keith, buy a couple more of those bottles over there. You're going to have a hell of a deal.
Okay.
That's yours, not mine.
You might want to drink one before you listen to
it. That's if I'm singing, all right?
Oh.
I've heard him sing like the Sloth before. It wasn't that bad. What's his name? Sid?
Yeah, Sid the Sloth.
Sid the Sloth.
Sid the Sloth. All right. So welcome back, everybody. 100 Proof Whitetails. If you guys could let us know in the comments below that the audios and everything are coming through all good. They usually are pretty decent. I could check it quick, too.
Awesome.
We got a full docket tonight. Lots of topics.
Keith stops in.
Keith stops in. Well, we'd originally planned to have Keith come on, talk some surveying to, you know, mix it up a little bit. However, Nate went out there and killed himself a solid buck. The number one over there,
dude.
Really
nice buck.
He was. He was actually my number one over there.
Yep. So it kind of changed the...
interesting story.
Yeah, so we're going to get into that tonight. We are going to talk a little surveying. We got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about tonight. We're going to tease this a couple times, though, tonight because we don't do as much whiskey content as we used to. This Friday the 13th.
Keith's back, some more whiskey.
Yeah, Keith's back, some more whiskey.
Thanks.
Change the itinerary. K&M's doing a big bourbon drop, 6 p.m. Tasting start at 4:30. So I'll be there. Neither of these guys will be there. They got other stuff going on.
Sorry.
That's okay. So I'll be there giving bourbon recommendations for folks for the upcoming seasons, and we'll go from there. Anyway, I love Bo. Bo, you always got to just feel that fire, buddy. So K&M, they'll be the live tastings, and they'll be doing their bourbon drops. So they tease some Taylor, some Eagle Rare, Midnight Winter's Dram, bunch of stuff. So hold on, I'll put this over here so Keith can see it.
Yeah, I was just about to say, what's going on over here?
Sorry, Keith.
That's okay.
It's the new setup.
All right. Cool.
So Bo says audio's good. Love the Matthews hat, Ben. Where's the Excalibur crossbow hat? It's a Whitetail Properties hat.
We were just talking about that.
But we're just talking.
I have a Matthews hat.
That's Keith. That's Ben.
That's Keith.
Yeah.
Ben.
My beard's a little darker.
Bo's been in the woods a little for a while this year.
He's been hitting the whiskey already.
Yeah. No Excalibur hat here. You know, it's Mission crossbows, by the way. You know, for Matthews.
Yeah, it is actually. Wait, is Bo Hunt a Matthews guy?
Bo Hunt is
or a Matthews hater?
Pull our leg guy. But yeah, so Bo, we're gonna dive into your topic a little later. But first, I wanted to kind of go through, you know, Nate's story with this deer and stuff like that. You know, and the heck of a season that we were both able to put together. I mean, we tagged out, and Keith, we got big plans for his property next year. So yeah, I think that's where we're gonna dive in with it. Do you want me to put up one of the pictures?
Yeah, actually, just
I got it.
The one from Facebook is amazing.
Roll in with
I can do that
with something. I'm going to send you a couple pictures first.
Okay, couple more pictures. All right, so we're gonna go with the. All right, we're gonna go with standby.
Excuse me.
Are you gonna send me like the hanging photos? Because I got those already.
Yeah, I'm gonna send. Well, I want them, and then I'm gonna send you a picture of him last year, and then a picture of him this year. Trail cam pictures.
Okay. All right, I think we should still all be good on the audio, but these were.
Send it to you on Messenger.
Yeah, I should be able to pull them off on Messenger. Pretty easy. So yeah, I was able to pop by, get some pictures of. Probably.
Nate, did you name him?
That was Willie.
Willie?
That was Willie Buck. So that was him this year, in bow season. If you go to the other one, I believe that was him last year. I believe him to be 2 years old last year, and I think he was 3 this year.
Well, and he had that little dog point, I think, starting down there. If you look, it's really tough to see, but he had that. That's something that a lot of those bucks carry over there, that genetic.
Yeah, I believe it's actually off of the same camera spot. Both of those pictures.
Sure is.
I think it is.
Sure is. That's down there in the mid-range. So
I guess getting into the story, I guess I'll start. So there's some pictures of him in bow season. Never had an encounter with him in bow season. Never saw him on the hoof in bow season. Had consistent pictures of him, usually after dark. The rut kicked in. He kind of disappeared, and I didn't get any pictures of him for a couple weeks. And then it was, which I thought was interesting, because I figured he was kind of more of he was probably, I guess, the most homebody, the biggest homebody buck that I had. I had other bucks that came in and out,
like one or twosies.
Yeah, ones or twosie pictures that were definitely bigger, but homebody wise, like on the block, he was probably the biggest racked one that I consistently had. Probably biggest bodied also.
Yeah, and I mean,
but when the rut hit, that, around Halloween to the I guess, what do you want to call it? November, the first 14 days in November or whatever, first 2 weeks in November. Didn't really get a whole lot of pictures of him. And which I thought was interesting, because some of the other homebody bucks I got a ton of pictures of during the rut. So I don't know. It kind of made me think of different things, I guess, like possibly maybe he got first dibs on them, and the other ones were tagging second, hanging out.
Well, he might have. I don't know.
Yeah,
he might have just went off to where he's breeding those does during that second little bump after that first initial bump.
Yeah, I mean, that was just a thought, but roll forward to opening day at Gun. We didn't hunt that property opening morning. We hunted it the afternoon. My wife calls me about a half hour before dark. Of course, I heard her shoot, and she says, she goes, "I just shot a buck." I'm like, "Oh, all right." I said, "Well, we got a little bit of time. Well, let me sit here." And I said, "Maybe we can double up, And of course, 15, 20 minutes rolls by, and I'm like, I'm not waiting any longer. I gotta go.
Yeah,
right. I gotta go. So I get out of a stand and I go down to meet up with her, and she explains everything to me, how the deer, when she shot, the deer reared up almost like a horse, I guess. And then it's reared up its front end off the ground and then leaped into the brush. And I don't think she didn't realize how far away I think the deer was when she shot. The deer was probably 180 yards. But looking for blood, going back trying to track the deer, we found some hair. We did not find any blood of sorts. Ben and his dad came out. Me and Ben went searching the next morning for more blood in case we were missing anything.
Did the due diligence on it. Dude.
We did our due diligence on it, and it was kind of a mystery what buck it was, because she was just excited in the moment. She couldn't really, and she doesn't really know the bucks like I do.
Right.
She's not. She's just going out a half a dozen times a year with me in hopes to get a crack at something. And it happened to work out, and then season rolls on. I think I got a couple pictures of him, but I guess I didn't really pay much of attention to it. But yeah, I guess this past Sunday afternoon, got back. It was last afternoon of gun season. So Owen was at my parents', and I went over to Liza. I said, "Hey, you want to go out?" And she goes, "No, I got a headache. I'm gonna take a nap." I was like, "All right." I said, "Well, I'm headed out." So 3:00, I was walking in my stand, walking up the hill. I get about 20 yards from my elevated blind that I got. And at that point, I could kind of like see over the knoll into that clover plot I was working on. If you guys follow us back from the beginning of season to last winter, the little 100-proof plot / clover plot I was working on last year.
X marks the spot, Mo in the middle.
Yeah, actually, I pretty much shot him in the center of the X. So
That's awesome.
I could see the back of a deer.
As you were walking in.
As I was walking in.
Okay.
I mean, it was a west wind, so my access was good to the food. If there was anything out of the food / bedding, everything was good. So I get there and I see the back of a deer and its head was down feeding. So I didn't know what it was, but I got down, set my gun down, got my backpack off, picked my gun up, and I'm about 20 yards from my stand. And there's some brush, sapling / goldenrod stuff there. So I kind of did a little duck walk over to it with my gun to get behind that stuff because I was still on the edge of the open field, the top bean field, ag field. So I get over there behind that stuff and I just stand up just enough to where my head in the gun is above that brush. And at that point, I could see the body of the deer, but I can't see its legs, and its head's down again or still.
How far away?
About 60 yards.
Okay.
So
yeah, he's pretty close.
Yeah, that is close.
I pulled the gun up, and I'm watching him, and I'm looking over his body. I'm like, I don't know, it seems like a decent-sized deer. And he picked his head up.
Long. I mean, he was a long deer.
He was long. And he picked his head up, and I'm like, and I saw, of course, this was his left side I was looking at, which comes to find out was his good side. I could see that little crab claw, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I think that's him. As soon as I saw that little crab claw in the end, I just brought it down, put it behind his shoulder, and I
folded him.
let the round go, and I'm looking at my scope for him to run. I'm like, what do I do? Miss him? I'm like, where is he? And then I looked a little closer or whatever, and I could see his white belt. He just flopped over. I was like, no shit.
60 yards.
So I made a couple phone calls. Fine, like no one knows how to use FaceTime. Ben, Jesse.
Nope.
I do.
My wife was sleeping. No one knows how to use FaceTime. I'm like, it's 3:00 in the afternoon. I was walking with saying, and I've just shot him. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know how to FaceTime? So either Ben's awesome. Wife was with him because he shot a doe. He's like, man, I just shot a doe. He's like, that's cool. And
we're trying to FaceTime.
So Ben's wife had to FaceTime me on like Facebook Messenger something, and
with the iPhone or whatever.
Yeah, I'm like whatever. So I finally got it to work, and I actually didn't walk down to the deer right away. I actually got up in the blind and sat there. I was like, well, we'll see if a doe comes out. But either way, I finally walked down there, got Ben on FaceTime, and I looked down, I seen his leg. If I don't know if any of those pictures show his front right leg at all.
Not really, because the way we photoed him, I don't even think. The hanging pictures really show it. Front right.
Yeah. Let me. I'll send you this other one.
It's right there. It's right in the front right here.
Yeah.
Right by that. Nate's over here. Stand by for the refresh, guys.
That's not me. That's not me.
Oh, it's not?
No.
Oh. Sorry, people. Don't look at my Facebook.
So this picture here.
Oh, look at this. Oh, you want the real life? This is pretty cool. We're gonna play the audio from this. Hopefully, it plays.
What the hell is that?
Hannah took the video of me calling you, and you calling me.
Oh, that's funny. On FaceTime?
Shit. No. This.
And I slowly stood up where I could just see over the brush.
I don't know how.
Still there. So he picked its head up. Fucking nice spot, dude.
Oh shit.
I fucking pulled my gun up and dumped him. He didn't even go anywhere. He just flat.
Oh, right.
Just flop.
He just flopped. That's good. I like that.
Yeah. So hopefully that audio is coming through. For
He just
listening.
flopped.
That's pretty funny.
I'm glad she got that on video.
Don't mind the swearing.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Don't mind the swearing, but hopefully you guys got the audio from that because it's just raw organic.
So if you could pull up,
Where are you looking at? Oh, wrong one.
what's that?
Nate's Messenger.
Messenger.
Working on
That guy. You zoom in on there.
Yep, I can do that. Ready? And add to stage. Boom.
Is this right where you dropped him,
So-
Nate?
Yeah,
Zoom
that's
in
where
on
he
it.
flopped. That's
So
where he
you got
flopped.
this right here.
Can you zoom in or no?
Yeah. Stand by.
Please hold.
Oh my goodness.
Stand by.
There you go. You can definitely see it there.
And stand by for the smart guy. I'm trying, guys.
Oh, you're flying.
No, you're all
I
right.
don't know
You're
how
good.
you're doing this. I wouldn't be able to do it.
No.
Here we go.
There you go. You can see it. So come to find out, I'm guessing. Of course, it's not 100% because or whatever, but I'm guessing because we did find hair after my wife shot opening afternoon.
Which would be kind of indicative of that. There was no belly hair in it.
Mhm.
There's no belly hair. It was just
Kind of longer guard hair. We almost thought brisket neck, kind of, is what we were thinking.
yep.
Almost.
And when I walked up to him and I found his body looked really like it's still looking long, but it was just lean. And then I seen his leg and there was nothing but it was just muscle and tissue holding it together. The bone was completely broken in half.
Jeez.
Oh, yeah, dude, for his leg, yeah. There's nothing left of his leg.
And
And everything-
I honestly think that deer was just was just laying in that bedding area. He wasn't going anywhere. Like he was just getting up and browsing. I think he actually was out there at 3:00 in the afternoon because he knew
There was
he
food.
needed
There's
he,
good
he
food.
needed food.
Yeah.
And there was a ton of food.
And there was not a lot of competition in the area.
Yeah. Because even
You
on
know what
younger
I mean?
bucks, we weren't seeing a whole lot this year.
No.
So was that how far away was that from where she shot?
Same stand.
Same stand.
But where
Okay.
he was when she shot
A couple hundred
his
yards.
leg,
Different field.
probably 250
Yep.
from where
Okay.
he was.
Gotcha.
Where he was about 250 yards south.
Just a different field.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But he was
But
on the green, versus the little bit of outlaw plot in the pick soybeans.
Well, that's kind of cool that you got him though, and he didn't suffer anymore, right?
so that was kind of
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
I mean
dude.
that was kind of. I don't think he would have made the winner.
No, same thing with like
So-
my bow bucker. Me and Nate are just shooting all the scabbed up ones, and everybody, everybody wounds or hurts or whatever. That's the only way we can kill them, guys.
So-
Don't let us fool you.
So fast forward, get him hung up the next day, bring him to the processors. Get him all kind. You could see how wore down he was.
He is, dude.
He's
Those
you
are
skinny.
Those
He
are
is
ribbed. You can
skinny.
actually see the bone in the
Yeah.
rib.
like protruding, dude. Like there is no muscle there. The shoulders all atrophied.
The
You can see
shoulders
the shoulder
gone.
blades.
All right, so
The muscle in his neck was completely gone.
Can I stop you for a second?
Sure.
So I'm new to this.
That's where I hit him.
Is this all due to the rut and chasing does and constantly being moving?
I think it was
Combination.
It was a combination of him being wounded and his body having to exert more energy
Yep.
than
Look at that.
he would normally do.
Okay.
But
so what was
he
the
was
time
also
frame?
trying. It was a whole month.
a
different.
month.
So that is
Okay, a
actually a deer that I think was probably 3.5, 4 years old.
Yeah.
That was hanging next to him. So that is a healthy.
Solid 3.5-year-old.
Right.
You can see the fat. There's no ribs showing. Got
Yeah.
solid rear end muscles.
Yep. His hindquarters not gone. He's got
His-
plenty of reserves.
He's
Mhm.
got a nice thick neck.
But then you look at the meat, like it's down to
His rib
nothing, dude. Like,
Yeah.
hold
well,
on.
his body
This
was
one.
eating itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause
He's
he-
eating
'cause he
off
couldn't-
his muscle reserves.
Right.
I
Yeah.
think that's what I mean. I think
Yeah.
he was just bedded up for almost a month.
And couldn't
Yeah.
move
Like
enough
maybe
to get
just
out and eat.
nibbling on sticks. Like
Yeah.
he just wasn't moving.
And
Yeah.
like we were saying, dude, like,
His body was just living off of his own
Right.
muscle and
Yep.
fat.
and
Yeah.
I think that's a big reason why, one, he dropped probably that 25% weight
What did
for
we
the rut.
guess? Like max, he dressed 110.
Yeah, dude.
When
When we were setting him up for
Max
Wow.
dressed 110.
when we were picking him up for pictures, dude. I kid you not, we drug him out. I drug him out, actually. I drug him out, and I got him over there, and I was getting ready to flip him up, and I go to, give him a good,
And it
to
was
flip
too-
him, and I about freaking roll him right over completely. And then I flop him back, and I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, Nate grabs his feet, and we just pick him up. We're holding him there, and I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
spread his legs, set him down.
So when you shot him, he had no energy to run.
So you know how when if you're taking pictures of a deer, they get rigor mortis.
Yeah.
This deer had no muscle left. There was no rigor mortis for photos the next day.
Legs weren't stiff. It was also weird that when he was
It was so weird.
when he was hanging, because you hung your does in front of him, and then he was in the back of the shed,
Mhm.
and it was nice red, healthy looking blood dripping out of the nose/mouth of those does.
Normal, yeah.
And you look at his, it's almost like he was anemic. There was no blood in him.
Yeah, it was like
It was just
thin,
clear,
watery.
clear,
So he was
Reddish,
so he was
clearish.
bleeding out.
clearish liquid.
Body was eating
Brown.
himself alive.
Yeah.
Because he had to.
Like, I'm pretty sure he was anemic. I think he was just low blood.
I don't know about you, but if I were in that position, I would be more thrilled to take that animal and stop that.
Mm-hmm. I was
And
excited.
then the rack and everything. Like, that's just me, but
Well, there's 3 reasons I was excited about this. One, it closed the mystery on who Eliza shot at opening day.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
2, that deer was gonna die. I kind of put him out of his misery.
Yeah.
Yep.
3, he was kind of he was.
He
I
the
think
best
kinda
buck-
my number
he
one,
was the
'cause
best.
they're-
He was pretty much the best buck you had over there consistently.
Yeah,
Other than a couple.
he was the best buck.
So it was
that I had
a
over
win-win-win,
consistent.
really.
Like I had him on camera every week.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Sam Colgrove comments in, says, were you able to get any meat off of him?
Yeah, Caleb picked it up. He said he wanted it. No, we threw him out. Saying he wasn't no good.
Yeah.
He wasn't any good. I tried. I brought him to the processor. I was like, well, I said just skin him
Peel
and
'em,
tell
see
me
what
what
it
you
looks.
think. I said I'm not really sure. And he peeled them. He said he goes, well, you do what you want. The meat doesn't look bad. He goes, but I wouldn't eat
There's
it.
nothing left there.
Yeah.
Like I said,
I said,
dude.
well, if you're not gonna eat it, I'm not gonna eat it.
Yeah.
So
That's a bummer.
Right. So no, it was the same kind of judgment call we made with, and he didn't have like obvious signs of infection, I guess, like my bow buck had, but just when your body is like the muscle tissue is just not
Not normal.
not there because it's eating itself away. Literally, it's I hate to put it like this, but it's kind of like a better like a term, like a Holocaust deer. It's like a slow deprivation of the body.
Mhm.
That deer's just not healthy. And there's no way, like my dad said, we're saying a month, but my dad's like, okay, what happens if we got teens or single digits
What
of
if-
temperatures?
Yeah.
And
Where
you got to
would-
make that furnace go in that body, keep
Oh,
warm.
yeah.
That deer's dead.
where would 6-pack be at this point?
Probably in that shape or dead. If the infection didn't take him, he'd probably be in that condition because he had already dropped a ton of weight.
Yeah,
In like the 2 weeks between, good pictures and, when I shot him in, first week of November. So, if he pushed through the infection, maybe it'd have been different, but, I don't know. And that's goes to show how freaking tough, dude, they freaking are though. Cause, I've had ones that have had injuries, but it just depends if it's like the right injury. They're like the toughest animal in the world, but like, so fragile at the same time, dude. Like you get Outlaw where I punch it through his lung and he lives. And then you get one that gets freaking stabbed in the back or shot in the neck and it gets infected and he dies.
Right.
It's
luck too. I mean, it really partly of where the injury happens.
injury, time of year,
You
conditions. I think all that plays a huge factor in it.
So that was the story of Willie.
Willie!
Big Willie. He's kind of got this cool little
Yeah, which is a connected point.
Base.
We were wondering if it was going to be connected
Kicker
or not
thing.
connected. Because there was hair around it, but not like grown over it, kind of.
but
We're going to give him a
I
rough
believe
grade.
him to be 3.5. He could be 4.
We got his teeth. We'll send him out.
And I honestly I couldn't be happier with it.
So did you decide you're going to go with Curly's cape?
Curly.
So the nice thing about my wife not letting me mount all these deer is my taxidermist has like a surplus of
All your capes.
all my old capes off of all these nice bucks that I've shot.
That's all right.
So,
And I get to take advantage of it.
and Nate's like, and I get a nice cape out of it. So, because Nate's like, well, what do you think? Which one? I'm like, I'd probably take Curly's cape over Dono's cape, to be honest. Like, he's got, which is closer color, better neck measurements. I think he's a better fit. For me.
And I can say I have a Cider Ridge Bucks cape on my wall.
You can.
Brian, you hear that?
All right, so is everybody getting the inside spread?
Sure. If people want to throw in some guesses at
We're gonna green them
scores.
up. We're gonna green them up. Really, he's only that wide? I think it's because of his neck, dude. It makes him look wider than he is. 16-3.
16-3. There you go.
16 3/8, folks. For everybody at home tuning in on his inside spread. I thought he would at least be 19. With his neck, dude, just made him look so.
18 inches.
Yeah.
Either way.
Both
Doesn't
have
appear.
87 inches.
87. I love you both. Go for gold. I'm thinking, I don't know.
I was guessing right around 120.
I'm thinking 115 to 120 between those two. He's got good beams. Got a nice little dog point. Good mass. He's got 10-point frame. He's got some palmation on the inside.
Will
and
he
stuff.
beat my bull buck at 116?
Anyway, so next topic. We can roll some topics while I'm taping this up. And we
Yeah.
can keep the conversation going with it.
Yeah, so let's go. So we talked about the K&M bourbon.
Tease it again.
The K&M bourbon.
Bourbon drop.
Bourbon
This Friday.
This Friday,
6
K&M.
o'clock. You better be sure.
So let's talk about that new deer season. They're talking about extended deer season.
Oh, we're gonna get Bo rolling.
So
So I just heard about this tonight. So give us the full rundown of what they're doing and how it's going to happen.
well,
Proposed. It's not
it's-
gonna
So
happen.
who's proposing it?
DC?
Okay.
I believe it's a January doe season, kind of like we have a September doe season. So we have a pre-deer season doe season, and then we'll have a post-deer season
Antlerless season.
Mm-hmm.
doe season, antlerless season.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm not really big on the post one. Once I got
I think-
thinking about it, because of the
The shed bucks. I mean, I don't think he would have, kept his antlers much longer.
I don't know people are saying they've been seeing shed bucks, but I mean, as long as most people that hunt it are probably going to be doing their due diligence and looking the deer over at that point. I would think in the season, but
You never know. My
and then
question.
technically, an antlerless buck is a legal deer
For a doe tag.
for a doe.
So
tag.
this is what I think about is so I just want to put this out there. So I'm not a trophy hunter per se like you and Ben. I am more of a freezer filler. Okay. So what I think about is people that don't get to get out in the woods a lot and maybe they've had a really busy winter. Is this an opportunity for them to get out and harvest an animal? And are you going to have those folks that get out and they see a nice mature deer in front of them and they just pull the trigger and they don't take the time to glass it and figure
yeah.
out what happens? Like, am I okay with that? It's their tag, right? But just initial thoughts on that. Do I think that's going to happen? I could absolutely see that happening
Oh, for sure.
for
Deer
people that just want to get meat in the freezer and maybe the only day they can get out that week, that month, whatever it may be. And how is that going to affect things?
So I'm gonna say this just because I'm gonna give my 2 cents on it. I'm for the season length where it's at because I don't see them taking days away. I am not in favor of them adding days. I don't see the reason for it. I know you said, like, opportunity to get out. Dude, we got a deer season that
Hey, make it all
goes
year
from-
long. I'll hunt all year long.
I mean, I think our deer season is plenty long enough where it sits right now. I don't see any
so
benefit.
what's their goal? What's their goal with that?
That's what I was just about to
Making
ask. Like, why are they doing it?
What's
Yeah.
their bottom line with doing that?
Increased deer take. The reason is they don't think we're killing enough deer in New York. My theory in this is just like you do it.
We're not killing enough deer, do you?
Yeah.
I can tell you why.
Yeah. So you want to know why?
People are-
You want to know the honest reason why? And this is hot take. I think there's too much opportunity, which is why more deer don't get killed. If you want my honest opinion.
What do you mean by that? Expand on that.
Because the season's too damn long, you have more opportunity. You have, this weekend's not really that good for me.
Yeah.
Next weekend I can still get out.
Sure.
And the next weekend you might not see a deer. Rather than, they've shown it in states like Ohio where their, doe harvest is almost 60% or better of their total deer harvest. We're
Mhm.
almost the exact opposite, if not more. So I think less opportunity increases more urgency. It's the same thing with marketing or a sales, thing going on
Mhm.
at Bass Pro or whatever on
Yeah.
Black Friday or whatever is, hey, we're from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. or 9 to noon. You can get 30% off your deals right now. Same thing. You take that gun season, you shrink that thing down into 10 days. You want to talk about getting the deer harvest done and over with?
Right.
Boom, done.
So I got a question.
And that's my personal opinion. I think that because it's spread, it limits the deer take more than helps the deer take.
Question.
If that makes sense.
Do you think that there is an issue in New York State with people not reporting their doe harvest?
110%. Any harvest.
And do you think that affects the statistics by which they gather data and make these decisions?
Yes, and they know it, and they say it. They say it.
Who does, the DEC?
They say it. The DEC knows that the harvest isn't getting
They
reported.
do a ratio.
Yep,
like-
it's a
Okay.
percentage based.
What was the percentage? We looked it up a while back.
I don't want to throw out.
It's
I'm just
50-50. Like
not. I don't.
whatever
think it's even that.
the full amount
Mm-hmm.
of deer that are reported, double it.
Yeah,
For the real
it's
number
kinda-
being
yeah,
taken.
That's what they do basically.
It's
Gotcha.
yeah.
It's
that's-
not exactly that, but it's roughly that.
Yeah,
So they
it's-
do account for non-harvest
So-
reporting.
So my take, and it's always been this, because the way we're going, and again, you can disagree with it. I know my dad's going to disagree with it. We're going to the digital age of tags, everything like
Yep.
that. This paper tag season is the stepping stone till next year. There's going to be no tags.
Mm-hmm.
And mark my words, there's going to be no tags next year.
Yeah,
It's going to be all digital.
Yep.
If you're going in that digital mindset, you don't have access to your tags until you report last season's tags. Like, you really want to get this deer harvest down,
Yeah.
you don't get the green light to go unless you report your deer, And I think that's should have been something that we've pitched before, that you have a
At the
pre-season
end of every
service.
year, you're just going to get a flood of people reporting all their tags.
Yep.
Just
And
like-
then the
Mhm.
system's going to get overrun. In typical New York, it'll all get backlogged, and we'll freeze the whole system.
I like the idea, but I don't.
Yeah, I like
people are
the
going to take advantage of it no matter
Yeah.
what.
Yeah, no,
Exactly.
the same people are going to take advantage of it that would take advantage of it in any other way.
So we're talking about this proposed additional season. When are we supposed to know about this?
Probably like 2 days before season.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Bo says, what are we doing here? How many more extended seasons do we need? Then I think he said absolutely agreeing with Ben. When is the DC going to realize that extending seasons, creating new seasons, putting new implements in existing seasons is doing nothing to gain hunters or retain hunters?
Yeah, I'm on board with that, dude. Like, I don't think you're gaining anything, literally, for the way the seasons are set up right now. I don't think more opportunity is going to do it. It's shown
I think that they think that the number of hunters is possibly down, and they're
Overall.
trying to give the hunters that they have more opportunity.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's what they're going for, but I don't think that's the issue. I think, I think that if you asked, most hunters, you're gonna get. They want to shoot a good deer. I mean, filling the freezer's true, but number one goal I would say for most folks that are buying a hunting license is shooting a good deer.
I mean, not many people. Like, it's not like a meat thing anymore.
Yeah,
A
that's
lot of people, households are divided when it comes to venison.
No,
Majority
very
of them.
much so.
majority
Yeah,
won't
like-
eat it.
Like, one deer is good enough for probably 2 years for most families because either Junior won't eat it or Mom won't eat it,
Mhm.
and Dad will only eat it. So Dad can only cook it when Mom's not around, which is
or
probably
mix it in for
once a
tacos
month.
maybe or whatever.
Or he fools her with a chili. Like it just it.
So I'm the exception there because I eat 2 deer a year by myself.
Yeah, I would say you're on the other end.
So yeah, right. I mean,
The other
so there
one.
are extremes for sure, but
Keep
there's-
that grocery bill down, bro.
it's you talk to any serious hunter when you're out at the bar, you're at at any event, and they're always like, "Hey, I would like to get a nice deer this year." They never don't say that.
Yeah.
Even if they are looking for meat, they still want to get a nice deer.
Yeah, okay. So that guy that's the meat guy, which I'll say that. If you're telling me that a 120-inch deer standing out there and a 50-inch deer standing out there,
Exactly.
even if the 50-inch deer is bigger,
Right. Body wise.
yep,
Exactly.
you're not going to take that,
Right. Right.
I know one guy that would just shoot them both.
Well, yeah, there's also that.
Just shoot them both, and then you got what? What were your inches?
Then you got 200 inches
And
in.
then you got 200 inches. In.
170, whatever. Yeah.
So Bo here says the hunter numbers are down, but people are hunting more, and we have better technology that is making hunting easier and hunters more successful.
Yeah, I think
that's true.
our success rate per hunter is definitely going up. I think if they really want to knock down these doe numbers, it's gotta, they gotta do it like
Black Friday?
No, well, not. I think that would help too, but I think doing it like Michigan's got some support, Pennsylvania's got some support, and some of these different programs where you can get specialized assistance for like your neighborhood or your cooperative, and a person that literally their job is to go out there and work with landowners in a neighborhood and be like, hey, where are you guys seeing for doe numbers? Okay,
Mhm.
could we see some more take that? That's the job of that person for the state.
Sure.
And I think that New York could benefit from a lot of that stuff. I think, dude, it's so hard because we are, and I'm not gonna say that we aren't, but we are definitely blessed in an area where we have very good deer numbers, and but as well, we're also probably not shooting anymore off of our main farm, just because our doe numbers are where they want to be, because our neighbors do take them. Like my grandma's farm, probably I'll take one with the smoke pole if I get a chance, and then we set our lease. We probably would take one over there, maybe two, depends on how many we're
Tag
shooting.
them up over there.
And then
I think we can.
and then you have parcels like mine where I see 20 a set.
You got to smack them.
Let's
you
all
guys-
go to Keys and I'll drop one together.
Let's just all go out and smoke poles. Keith will be sitting there with the bow, be like, "Guys, you didn't let them get close enough."
I mean,
I'll take a little more of that Penelope. Sure, you got it down. By
Samantha says it wasn't a meat thing in our house. The girls love venison.
Perfect.
Turns out.
Perfect.
Yeah, Caleb had a great. This is probably the best year Caleb's had in
He's
probably
put
3-4
two?
years.
2 in the freezer.
Ben, do you
Yeah,
mind if I have a splash?
He might have
You
gotten
can have whatever you
3.
want.
He might have gotten 3.
Yeah, because he did get the one with the bow this year.
He got the buck with a bow, and
Yep.
I know he got a doe opening day. He might have got another one. Not
Yep.
positive.
So,
We only live a mile and a half apart, but we never talk.
yep, you're just cousins.
We're just cousins and have kids the same age.
So Saturday when I shot that doe, there were 3 doe in front of me. Shot one of them, and as I was shooting that one, there was 8 more coming over the knoll. I didn't see them, but my sister saw them running back towards the farm. But in that one sit, there were 12 deer right there.
Yeah, no.
It's nuts.
Our number, and I've talked about on the show before, our kind of rule of thumb is 5 or more, we drop a doe.
Right.
And that takes the doe groups and consolidates them a lot more.
Yeah.
And it's not that we don't see multiple does a sit. It's just we see smaller family groups.
Mm-hmm.
They get divided. They don't
Right.
take over food sources as much, and I think that creates a lot of good dispersal on our property
Right.
and good seeking opportunities for the bucks too, with the way that that's kind of divided and the way the plots are divided. It's all the strategy that goes in with that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of how we manage it. And like when I shot, and we could pull the video up too if you guys want to see it. When I shot that doe, there was, I think, 7 deer on the field and at least 2 or 3 more that I didn't see
Right.
that weren't coming in the field yet. And I was like, these deer are getting so close. Like once this field clears out, like we might not have another opportunity.
Right.
This is a big mature doe. I put good glass on her. It's on
Mhm.
shed buck. Just watching her before I, triggered her and stuff like that. And you actually see a pretty good buck who's going to be probably on our hit list next year. What's left of him. Tuning Fork was standing right behind the doe I shot
Oh, really?
when I shot her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, I think that, people just, instead of shooting maybe a small buck, you shoot a doe because the population is going to get controlled from the doe side of it over the buck.
Right. Exactly.
And I think that's, I think that's where it's going, but I think you still, because you go down to the bar, you go to a family Christmas party, everybody asks, did you get your buck?
Right.
Did you get your buck? Did you get your buck? It's not, how many deer are you getting this year?
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
But I think I'd probably like to drop another one.
My
But I think
80-year-old grandfather it is.
yeah.
My freezer's got room in it.
That's me. That's this guy right here.
Yeah.
My freezer does not have room in it.
You're like
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
I'm like the
Good
old
old
man.
grandpa.
So upstate, Caleb, I missed the proposed extended date with shooting the buck. Yeah,
100%.
we talked about that a little bit earlier, Caleb, probably before you tuned in. That is a concern, but the sad part about it is that if it goes through, a shed buck is a legal buck for a doe tag.
Yep.
Because it will be defined as antlerless deer, correct?
So,
Exactly.
yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Anything less than 3 inches of antler is technically antlerless, even
Right.
if it's a spike.
Right.
So my thing with the late season is
Bo's
extra-
going rogue here.
the extra. The extra.
Oh, I would love that.
The extra.
You don't have kids though.
Yeah.
You're right.
Wait till you have
Anyway,
a kid, and then you'll think a little different.
So
Fair
the
enough.
extra doe season that we have right now isn't increasing our antlerless take. They've shown that. So why do you think adding more season is going to increase that doe take?
I got an idea.
Okay.
What would you say to not doing the September doe season and doing that season where they're proposing it now?
September. I would 100% go September.
Okay.
If you can't kill does in and around summer food, I don't care where you're hunting in a southern zone area.
Mhm.
If you can't go out and kill a doe in September season,
You're doing something wrong.
you need to take a step back and look at your local area.
Mhm.
And it's possible that the property you hunt might not be right next to that food source. That's true.
Sure.
But look at how you can hunt them going to or from that hay field or that bean field or whatever.
Yeah.
September's
Right.
the easiest time to go out there and smack a doe. You went out there first sit
Yeah.
this year
with a 2-year.
with a 2-year-old
You had the whole
and got
family
it
with
done.
you, right?
in the same blind.
I mean,
In the same blind, you killed your buck out of.
I've killed a lot of deer out of that spot. That's why I put the blind there.
Yeah.
When I finally got an elevated blind, that's why I put it there.
Right. 'Cause you
I
guys
killed
so much-
I killed inside kicker from that spot
Yeah, you did. You did. True. On the ground.
on the ground.
Yep. Yeah.
Bo
So
says, "How about making youth season doe only?"
I'm anti on that. I don't think that's what's hurting.
That's not.
I think giving the youth, this is my take, I think giving the youth the opportunity to take a buck and a doe during youth season, I think should be able to do.
Oh,
if you
so
have
what is it right now? I don't know.
One deer.
One deer.
It's a buck or a doe.
Okay.
So I think for that youth season they should be able to take a buck or a doe
Mhm.
or 2 does in the appropriate area if you have the tags. That's my take on it.
Sure. Why not? What would it hurt?
That's my take on the youth season thing. I think I think that I just read that comment down on the bottom of the list. We'll get to it. I think letting you shoot 2 deer should be allowed. A buck and a doe or 2 does in the appropriate zone. That's my hot take for youth deer season.
So I got a question. You have the opinions and you have these ideas.
Mhm.
Is there any forum or any way to let these opinions and things be heard by the DC? Are there any town hall meetings or are there any forms of we can get that opinion to them, or is it all based on the data they get?
Yeah, so the I've sat on a couple of these boards in the past because of my involvement with like QDMA and National Deer Association and stuff like that. Honestly, you don't get much say in it, dude.
Okay.
You know, I give them credit for trying to get the word out there, but you're talking to these people in these community forums on Zoom calls or whatever, and they're talking that.
I'm looking for a napkin, but a beer works. I'll take a beer. I was looking for a napkin.
Comes with a free napkin.
Yeah, comes with a free napkin.
But I'm not gonna turn it down.
So with these forums and stuff, dude, you get these downstate groups that are so for dropping populations and stuff like that that it's insanely biased. And then I was in one with a guy that was like, hey, we have guys that are saying that they're not going to hunt these properties anymore that we give them access to because they have to shoot 3 does before they can shoot a buck.
Right.
Like, you literally can't trigger your buck on these permission pieces until you shoot 3 does. And it's like, your sound management starts going out the window when you just put a number on it.
Sure.
Our population, meaning the way that our habitat has been impacted and our food plots have been impacted, has changed for the better because these deer aren't just holding up in these food sources for hours and hours on end, destroying them when we have segmented populations. As long as you don't get those big doe groups, you really don't see, in the good managed habitat, you don't see those impacts on the local habitat that you
like the group of does I have at the farm, it's between 8 and 10.
Oh,
that's
dude,
what you're talking about.
We're going to cut that down. That's going to be like step 1. So we did that. Going quick backstory with that. There was years, dude, I was shooting 6-7 does a year.
Right.
Like, I was using every one of my antlerless tags and sign overs.
Yep.
I was killing.
To cut it down.
I was killing deer. Because Hannah asked me the other day, she's like, how many deer you killed? I was like, I think I've killed 16 bucks now or whatever. I'm like, she's like, well, how many does? I said, total. And I'm like, I don't know, maybe 50, 60 I've probably killed for deer.
Right.
I've killed a lot of freaking deer, dude. I've ate a lot of deer.
That's good.
That helps me get my recipes better.
Right.
So going back to Bo's comment. Sorry about going on that tangent, guys.
So going back, catching up some comments here. If New York put antler restrictions on like Pennsylvania, I would have no problem with them reducing the does. It's kind of worded a little funny, Bo. But yeah, I kind of see what you're saying, that if you put antler restrictions on, people are more likely to shoot a doe instead of the 4-point.
Yeah, just to get in the face.
I think you said it. I think
that is a different twist on it.
It's a different approach for sure.
New York won't do it, though. New York's all about getting the deer numbers down.
I think the main issue we have, dude, is...
You want me to say the actual main issue?
Go for it.
You want me to say the main issue?
Yes.
The issue.
I want to hear it.
Liberal state.
Yeah.
Venison donation
high population.
Station. Oh,
Oh, we're back.
Are we back?
are we back? Bo, let us hear in that moment.
Minute.
That minute. Don't tell my wife. I think she's watching.
Oh, we're back. All right.
Did
So
you
the quality
hotspot it?
might be down. I'm hotspotting off my phone at the
We
moment.
got technical difficulties here, people.
Apparently, my wife didn't pay the internet bill, and they shut us down.
I think it's because
New York can't put us down.
My wife, easy with them words, man. You're gonna get
I
kicked.
think
out. No more talking about. Every time we say New York, it cuts out.
we're not from New York.
Okay. Anyway,
Holy
so
crap.
I am watching.
He really didn't chug that many beers, I promise.
Keith's like, don't kill him.
Caleb says venison donation stations would increase doe take. I know lots of hunters that would shoot more does if they could donate deer.
I agree.
I think that's a good part of it too. I think
that would help.
I think that would help because people, quite frankly, I think I got room for one more, but I added a huge
Well, there's
freezer.
room, and then there's like how much you actually gonna eat.
Right.
Yep.
And that goes back to what I was saying.
Without waste.
Most households
You know?
don't even eat a deer a year.
Well, you go
Yeah.
through, everything with, specialty sticks and stuff like that. If you're making jerky, I mean, that can
Yeah.
use some up from previous years. That's what I use some of my older stuff for.
Is
You know.
the jerky?
The jerky.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
2-3-year-old stuff, which is still fine, dude. It's not.
But
It
that's a
doesn't
really
go
good.
bad.
That's a really good point though, because before we started, Nate and I were just talking about this. That because I have so many doe, I would love to take another one, but I really don't want to spend the money to get it processed, and I have limited freezer space. So
Mhm.
If you had
Absolutely.
a donation,
if I did have a donation or just somebody like, hey, I'll take this deer and pay for it,
Mm-hmm.
I would absolutely 100% go kill two more.
No.
I absolutely would. So it's just, there are certain limitations there for sure.
Mhm.
But what scares me is the harvesting of a shed buck. Like, I don't think that's fair to the people that invest so much time and money and resources like you two into getting those target bucks for those to get just wasted.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point with it, but I think that's next year's resource. As is the does. But if your goal is to control population,
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to harvest bucks,
Right, exactly. You're not doing any good.
And I might put a bunch of people off by this. The doe I shot the other day, she was pregnant. Hey, guess what? After October 31st, pretty much every doe you shoot is going to be pregnant.
Right.
It's just the way it is.
Right.
So if you want to talk about, total deer harvest, did I
Sure.
kill one deer? No. I probably killed 3 deer for
Ben?
next year.
Right.
we all just voted on this.
Yep.
Back in November.
Yep.
You're not wrong.
Yep. Hey. What are you going to do, man?
Go to the next one. I really am excited about this.
This one?
I didn't see it.
It's coming up
Is it
on the
from your
screen.
wife?
Yep. Liza says, so is the 100-proof mix responsible for making 2-year-old deer look older than they really are?
Yes, it is. 100 proof will make your 2-year-old look like a 5-year-old.
Is that a selling point of the mix?
Yes.
Is that how you're going to market this? I want to know this.
I don't know.
I feel like that should
Yes.
be a slogan on a T-shirt.
Actually,
put that shit on a t-shirt.
100 proof will make your 5-year-old look like a 2-year-old.
Nate, what does it make a button buck look like?
It never loses its spots for a whole 18 months.
Oh my
It's got
God.
spots.
Oh, it's too funny.
Then you could claim it as a pie ball.
So is she talking about the guy that was breaking your balls?
Oh, yeah.
I want to meet this guy.
My wife's not good at letting things go. She will.
I'm
she,
not either.
She was ready to like
Throw fisticuffs?
stab someone in the throat that night.
I would
was
pay
like,
to see that.
Jesus.
I would pay to see that. I really would.
On next week's episode.
No, please don't. Next week's episode,
Oh, that is
Nate's wife
hilarious.
stabbed someone in the throat.
I feel like that'd be a good headline for a show.
Yeah, probably not
Like
going to do
tra-
that.
Can we have a trailer of
All
that,
right,
please?
well, Ben's adding up the numbers here. Bo goes, yes, Liza, thank you for your comment. I appreciate it. Michigan is switching over the youth season to doe only. I do actually like a lot of Michigan's rules. I mean, I'm not against the doe only for youth. That's just for everyone else's youth. If it was my youth, then
You would feel different
I would feel different.
for the excitement.
I don't know.
out of
I
it?
mean, it's great to see the kids get all excited and stuff.
No, I'm sure.
I can also see the side of where it kind of takes away. It kind of takes away from, I guess the grind.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, if you go out there as a youth at 14 years old and you shoot 150-inch deer, I mean, what are you hunting for?
Right.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point, and I don't.
What are you? Another one?
I never. Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
right.
I never. Well, I never
Goal.
hunted a youth season because they didn't have it, dude.
Right.
When I was a youth,
They didn't
You
have
know?
youth season.
no, we're in that age that they didn't have it for us. So hey, but that's interesting, Bo. I didn't know that Michigan was switching over youth season to doe only. I think that's an
You
opportunity.
didn't know that? I knew that.
Did you?
Pretty sure we talked about this on the show.
That might have been. Bo might have commented it, and I just didn't click in my brain.
So the troll is safe.
Yeah.
Liza doesn't want to go to prison for life.
Yeah.
So the troll is
Did you
safe.
just call your wife a troll?
No, the guy that was trolling on.
Oh, okay. I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on here?
Yeah.
The troll. What's
The
his troll's name? I want to
troll.
meet this guy.
The troll. No,
We don't name drops.
You don't want to
Off
meet this
camera.
guy.
We're good. So
That was good though. I
the
like
score did come in. Added up.
Bo,
That's in an eighth.
you were damn close with
What is it?
87.
No.
Real
that.
close.
What is it?
Minus the spread and the beams, maybe.
There's a 1
Yeah.
and
you
a 5 at the end. So what's the middle number, Bo?
You already told him what it was gonna be.
More than 87. I'll stand here. I knew it was gonna be.
What was
We
your
were-
guess, Ben?
We were right there.
I said he was gonna be between 115 and 120.
Okay. Are you gonna tell me you're just gonna leave the suspense?
Well, we're suspending it, but we could be, lagged again or whatever. Bo says 0. Bo, you were wrong. It's a 1.
0.
115.
One.
Oh, that's what 115 was your thing, dude.
Yeah, 115. Bo, you've been
115.
right
Remember
on
the
it.
youth? You were busting the youth's balls.
Hey, talking about that, we
And
said
then I said, I'm going to go out and shoot 115-inch deer. And I did.
115 and an eighth.
And I did. 115-inch 2-year-old.
I'm never gonna forget about that.
Dude,
That's funny.
My house is going to get lit on fire.
Does this guy know where you live?
Oh,
yes.
That's
Oh,
not
yeah.
cool.
That's not cool. It's only cool if you pee your pants.
Yeah, that's what Adam Sandler would tell you.
I had to take points off. You didn't have
Mm.
Huntworth on.
I had my
Oh,
Under
shit.
Armour.
Yeah, but isn't that why you killed him? You were just telling me that's good luck for you. Your Under Armour.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah,
Hey,
what are you
that's
gonna
that.
do? That's a good point, Bo. Had to take points off.
So I thought we were going to roll. We're already at an hour.
Yeah, we're at the hour mark.
Damn it. I thought we were going to roll back into that buck habitat thing.
Mm. And we were supposed to talk the survey stuff.
There's
All
always
right,
more.
roll with the survey.
There's
We'll-
more. No, there's more.
I shot a
there's always,
buck.
there's always more episodes.
I shot a deer and screwed everything up. Next episode will be on the buck habitat thing.
Buck habitat. We're gonna dive a little bit into the surveying side of stuff with our local surveyor.
Connecting 51. Is it 51 or 52 episode?
This is episode 53.
Connecting episode 51, 52 with 54.
Yep. There you go. Put the bridge in it
Mm-hmm.
for deer habitat next episode. Unless, well, neither one of us are killing a buck. But Keith, if Keith kills a buck,
I can
maybe
kill a buck.
he'll come back out. He's got 2 buck tags. Did you know that?
I do. How do I know? How do I not know this?
Your regular season tag turns into an either sex tag in muzzleloader season.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
So go get a
Learn
muzzleloader.
something new every day.
Welcome
yeah, I
to
can
the
shoot my
show.
bow though.
You can shoot him with a bow, or you can shoot him with a muzzleloader.
I don't have a muzzleloader.
I mean, or if Bo lets you borrow his crossbow.
no, absolutely. I'd rather die.
You just became Bo's best friend.
I hate crossbows. I'm sorry. If
So-
you can shoot a vertical bow and you choose to shoot a crossbow, we can't be friends.
Yeah, well, I think you'll do with a crossbow.
We can't be friends.
Damn it.
I'm totally kidding. I
It's all
don't care. I don't care what you kill an animal with.
So- Friendship.
Also wanted to say that a little proud moment for me. I had my first listing for Whitetail Properties.
Pretty neat.
That just,
It's
of course, everything's in the way.
pretty neat.
There we go.
Wayne County.
Pretty property, dude. I freaking designed all the food plots on this. This was all 100% wood when I got there. Left the apple trees, design stand locations, the whole freaking nine with it. Love this piece. The guy's just back door to hunt than it is to go 40 minutes down the road. Things this kind of ties into the survey thing with it, Keith, and I can like surveying side of it. Do you like Onyx?
So I sit on the board of directors for the New York State Association of Professional Land Surveying, and right now a major concern throughout New York State and throughout the entire country that is similar to it to determine where they are on the earth, and meaning that is where you are in relation to boundary lines, right? Doesn't matter if you're in California, Alaska, New York, doesn't matter, right? So it's a nationwide problem right now. It creates lawsuits. It creates unwarranted money spent on attorneys, on surveys. It's a big problem. So about 2 years ago, I was looking into the issue after I had a client had about a 20-acre parcel posted with galvanized steel posted signs and vinyl laminated posted signs, like the actual sign that goes on the post, and they spent over $10,000 to have this property posted. We get to the lot because the neighbor said that these posts are on their land. Long and the short of it, the fence company that did the signage used Onyx. They put every single posted sign down over 1,000 feet of two boundary lines, 50 feet on either neighbor, using Onyx. Okay. So this did not go to court, but the client did have to pay the fence company to come back, move every single fence post that was every 50 feet on like a 1,200 foot line, both lines, east and west line. And that's where my experience came with Onyx before I was hunting. Okay. And then I'll use my parents' land as a perfect example. Is it's never been surveyed. In the history of the parcel, it's never been surveyed since it was subdivided out. And I can go on Onyx and I can punch in my location. I can be standing next to the rebar at the corner and it's more than 50 feet off. So if you are going to set a stand, a blind, put in a food plot, and you're using Onyx, you can easily be a minimum of 50 foot off. Okay. Like without question. And in Wayne County, I've had properties on Onyx be up to or beyond 250 feet off of a boundary corner. Okay. So it's a massive problem.
Mm-hmm.
However, it's still a tool in the toolbox for a realtor, for a homeowner. It's just, you have to understand the limitations. You have to understand the uses and the intent.
So it's like an estimate.
Yep.
It's an estimate using the
tool that you have.
The tool that you have.
I feel like everybody kind of knows that.
They don't.
No.
They do not.
Everybody says that Onyx says.
Onyx is law.
Onyx says.
And I'll tell you this. So
I've never used it as law. I've used it as an
reference.
estimate, like reference.
So I come across clients in my day-to-day operations as a surveyor in New York State, and they say, "Oh, well, Onyx says the corner's back here." And then we take the client and we do what's called beating the bounds, right? You're going to walk the property and you're actually going to show the client where the property corners are, whether it's a pipe, a fence post, a tree, whatever.
Rebar, whatever, yep.
Whatever the monumentation is. And I take Nate out. He goes, "Keith, will you come out and show me where the northwest corner of my property is?" And he's got his phone open on Onyx. And it doesn't have to be Onyx, whatever app it is, right?
Yep.
You walk out and you and I go right up to the monument that is per the deed, per the map, per everything. And I can almost guarantee you that Onyx won't be right. But there are instances where it's pretty close. Okay.
Yep.
But basically the moral of the story is nothing in the continental US, in my professional opinion, replaces a deed and a survey that matches the deed of that parcel. And then understanding the deed, understanding the map, and actually going out and walking the parcel and seeing where the corners are, beating the bounds is
Yep.
what it's called,
Mhm.
of truly understanding where you're at
Right.
in the property and whether you're buying, selling, owning.
Mhm.
That is what is important to me. And I had a Whitetail Properties client recently come out and do a survey with me. Actually came out, and I said to him, I said, "Do you know what you're doing right now?" And he goes, "What am I doing?" I said, "You're beating the bounds." He goes, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "You're actually coming out and walking and seeing where the actual corners are." So he knew in his head where the corners are to do whatever they wanted to do.
Yep.
So there's a huge value in that. Surveys are what everyone thinks are expensive, but I will counter that in saying, if you're going to go out and buy a 23.5 acre parcel at $9,000 an acre, whatever it might be, if I were purchasing it, I would want to know the exact acreage I'm buying
Mhm.
so I can pay the correct amount.
Yep. See what the deed is or whatever. Yep.
And I would want,
The total deeded acres and then
Yeah,
survey to
so-
reflect.
so you're paying for what you actually own, and then I would actually want to know where I can put stands, where I can put food plots.
Mhm.
You know,
Bo.
Says he
So-
likes this guy.
Sorry, this is the first positive thing Bo has ever said on this. Well,
I like
actually,
Bo.
he did.
He likes your hunt work.
He did say nice bog.
Yep.
And stuff. I mean, he is cordial.
he's
But this is
cordial.
this is the nicest thing this guy has ever said.
Oh,
on
we
this
should be
show.
friends. So I guess my and Ben and I talked about this a little bit off camera, and I actually wrote an article on this in our state association magazine talking about this issue, and I actually
You're a
wrote
writer too.
Yeah, he's a published writer.
published. So
Published writer.
and I also wrote a formal letter to Onyx, because at the time of this art, when I found out about this in 2017, nowhere on Onyx's website
Or
Did-
terms and conditions. Yep.
did they describe their boundaries as tax map parcel lines. So when you are using an app, it does not matter what app it is in the continental US, the lines that you see on your screen, tablet, whatever it may be, are not boundary lines. They are tax map parcel lines.
Yep.
Tax map parcel lines are not boundary lines. They're purely the lines that which a county draws on a piece of paper to assess the acreage to then tax you on.
In a GIS file or whatever.
Whatever it may be.
Yep.
It
KTML
it-
file.
it-
if my
yeah,
brain's going
it
back right.
varies per county, but when you are using any of these apps, I say Onyx because that's a popular one, but they are not boundary lines.
Yep.
They are tax map parcel lines. If you go on Wayne County's website, you can get the tax map parcel lines and look at them on your computer, and it's just the same as Onyx.
Yeah. So I would say there's definitely some pieces I've been on that are better than others, but then other ones it's like the pin says, according to my software that we're using,
Mhm.
and I'm not saying that this is the boundary, I'm saying, and I specifically say this with clients, is what my software is showing
Mhm.
is the pin should be in here.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're within and you got GPS bounds, You got all
You
sorts
got
of
all-
other
yeah,
factors.
there's a
to it,
lot to it, for
you
sure.
know.
Yep.
Without sitting there with a deed and trying to interpret a deed, that's a legal side of it. I'm not even going to try to interpret a deed. You know, there's places where it's great, and there's other points where it's just like a pin should be here somewhere.
Yeah. So
within
that's
this radius
so that's
that
so
you can see.
let's build on that though. So you say there might be a pin, and what he's talking about is what surveyors call
Monument.
a monument, right? It
Okay.
could be a post, it could be a concrete monument, it could be a rebar pipe, doesn't matter.
Could be a big oak tree. I've seen
Could.
that in a deed.
It definitely could. But I'll tell you this:
I'm hacking that down. I'm going on Onyx. They're giving me an extra 5 acres. Put my stand.
I know stump identification. You're screwed. So my point in where I'm going with this is like in Gorham. So I'm from Gorham. I do a lot of surveying in Gorham, and most of the town of Gorham has not been officially surveyed in modern times.
100 years.
So, or more. So a lot of times there is not a monument. There's not an iron pipe. There's not a rebar. There's not a tree.
Remnant
okay?
of fence.
Remnants of fence, a stone wall. How many people have been out hunting and you see a stone wall? Those are boundaries from the 1800s.
About
So-
as concrete as you can get.
So
Pretty
something-
close.
Damn close.
Something
Pretty damn
that's
close.
very common,
Damn
and
close.
I've hunted mainly Ontario County my whole life, is old barbed wire fence lines.
Those are within 10 feet of the boundary line typically.
Yeah.
And what that is, so that's called American
'Cause
wire
we've all
fence.
seen the barbed
Yep.
wire growing into
Going
the
through the
fence,
tree.
going down into the ground, coming back up.
So
Maybe, yep.
let's talk about that for a second because that's really important. That's
Mhm.
super important actually. I work predominantly in Ontario County, and when there is not monumentation, and it's typically in farm lots, okay, 100 acres plus,
Mhm.
we typically, my mom's farm is exactly an example of this. So back in the olden days, in the Gorham Phelps Purchase, when New York State was sold by Massachusetts, it went through this huge subdivision, and they created what's called great lot lines, okay? Great lot lines were just basically square parcels that were subdivided off and sold to folks, mostly farmers. Those great lot lines were typically monumented by American wire fence, which is exactly what you're talking about, stone walls, and tree lines. So if you are out in the woods and you're
And
walking,
a stone wall doesn't necessarily mean there's mortar involved.
Oh, no.
I'm
it's
talking
stacked
field
stone.
stone.
Like
Stacked
stacked stone.
Like the farmer
Shale.
picked the field
Yep.
and dumped it in a line.
And stacked it.
yep,
The
and
kids
no,
stacked it.
and not always a farmer. It was done by surveyors too.
Okay.
So these are called great lot lines. So if you're ever out on a parcel hunting, it happens all the time. I could take you out to 10 parcels outside here. I can show you. You'll be walking along and you'll see a row of 20 to 30 inch plus oak trees, shagbark hickory trees, and they'll be absolutely perfect north south and east west. Those are great lot lines. And I guarantee you that if you go up to those trees, you'll find American wire fence going through them or on the base of them. And then, a lot of times in Ontario County, what you'll see is if you're at a lot
So American
corner,
wire, barbed wire.
no,
No.
American wire is basically a square
Oh,
type of
okay.
wire.
Yep.
Like the panel wire.
Yep,
Yeah,
panel
definitely
wire.
seen
So
that too.
the barbed wire is typically for cattle.
Division.
Yeah. So
Pasture
American
division.
wire fence is typically boundary, and it's cool because when you are out hunting and you're looking at these parcels, you're looking to buy a parcel. If you see these lines, and the great lot lines always go due east, pretty much due east west or due north south. And they're typically indicated by big ass tall trees,
Mhm.
American wire fence, old cedar posts. I do a lot. So, and the cool part is when there's not monumentation on these lots, there's no rebar, there's no pipes, there's no fence posts, things like that. As a surveyor, we will actually go locate the tree lines. We will go locate the fences, and we will build the boundary based on those things because it's the best evidence of a boundary. And typically, those fences are called out in a deed if it's really old,
Mhm.
okay, or the stone wall.
Right.
So if it were me out hunting and I had, this is what I do now, I will use a stone wall, a fence, or a tree line
Habitat change. Some of that for reference.
more of a reference than an app like Onyx.
Mhm.
But if you don't have that knowledge, then you have no idea. You don't have that reference.
True.
So, and then like your parcel, you're just looking at the creek line.
Mhm.
So
we looked at that before we went on the air.
So we have these parcels that back in the day when these lots were subdivided off from the farm parcels, these great lots, that a lot of them went to the center line of the creek. Okay, so a lot of these old parcels follow
the traditional center line of the creek.
The traditional center line of the creek, and if the deed reads, if the creek moves, your property moves to match the center line. If the deed reads the center line, as that creek meanders and moves with time, your parcel and area will move.
Acres.
Yeah.
Or less.
So, but it's true. Like
depends how it washes.
Yeah, so if you have a huge, massive storm and the center line of that creek changes, your boundary will change and your acreage will change if your deed reads to the center line thread of the stream or creek, and it's a non-navigable water by New York state law. So that's why I said that looks like it's to the center line of the creek.
Keith,
just drop a knowledge bomb, dude.
That's awesome. That's
sorry, but this
very
is like
informative.
survey fun for me.
No, that's great.
Dude, I love it. I absolutely
That's
love
awesome.
it.
Let's
And
catch up on some
Bo
comments.
Bo
quick.
says, I like this guy.
Bo likes you.
I don't know Bo, but he seems.
He is a likable guy.
Bo says,
Bo
come on.
is?
Yeah.
No, you.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Bo says, come on, Nate. You make me feel bad. I'm just busting chops to you guys. I'm sorry if I came across that way with a sad face.
Oh, I
You
touched
hurt
the
Bo's
nerve.
feelings.
I'm just busting chops too.
Yeah.
So sorry to
Just
go on that.
Just
Sorry,
giving it back.
sorry to
Yeah.
go on that rant, but it's a really important topic to
No,
me.
that was very informative.
Dude, I love
Yeah,
it.
that was great.
And I want you guys to know that this is a cool format to get the information out there, because right now this is a topic that we are talking at the state level, from the northern Adirondacks to the southern tier to Buffalo to Long Island.
Mhm.
It is not a localized problem. It is a statewide problem, and I talk to people throughout the country about this, and they're also saying it's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And what it's really doing is it's devaluing the profession, which drives me nuts, right? I don't want
Yeah.
to see any profession devalued.
Mhm.
But furthermore, it is in a way misinforming the people paying for the software, because they truly don't know what they are seeing on the screen and what is represented by the product. And I don't agree with that. I don't think it's morally correct.
Yeah, and I think that's a fair point to make that, people watching and stuff and listening might not be aware of, is that, they might think that, oh shit, it says the property line's right
Yep.
here.
Yep.
That's what Onyx says.
Yep.
That's what the software shows, which is what they're pulling those files from the county,
Exactly.
which, being in the real estate side of the field, the county is not reliable.
Not all of them. No, not all of them.
Some
for
of them
sure.
are
Some are better
damn
than
horrible.
Yeah, I'll
But,
agree with that.
But yeah, I think that it's a good tool if you're out there showing ground to reference,
Mhm.
Showing what the use of those KTML files, I think is what they are, coming over from the county, database basically into those softwares.
Yep.
Shows can give you a good representation of where those approximate,
Yeah.
an approximate being a very big,
Or small.
and it could be,
Yeah.
dude, I've walked and it's been right there.
Yeah.
I've walked and it's like,
No
I
idea.
can't find it.
Right. And
You
I've
know.
done the same thing.
Yep. So,
I've done the same thing.
but I think that's a good point. Bo comments in, says, what's a roundabout figure to get your property surveyed for, let's just say, 50 acres?
So this is a great question, because this is the number one question to a surveyor.
what's your cost per acre,
in New York
Keith?
State? So I will lead with this.
$100 an acre. That's my guess.
Every survey quote for
$200 an
for
acre.
every single parcel that's not like a small city lot will be unique.
Mhm.
There's so many factors that go into it.
How
What
many
is
corners?
well, not even that. What's the terrain like? Is
Yep.
it in Middlesex where there's 600 foot of fall from the top to the bottom? Is there
Swamp Creek.
is there a 100-foot creek that you have to get across to get to the property corners? Is it fully wooded versus fully ag land? Can my GPS work that time of year, or can it not work that time of year? So that is the number one question. It depends. Just like anything in life, it depends. There's so many factors that go into it. If you called me and you said, I have 50 acres in Wayne County, wherever you live, that I want to have surveyed, the first thing I'm going to do is ask you where it is. The second thing I'm going to do is look at aerial photography. The third thing I'm going to do is look at the topographic mapping of that area. And I'm going to generate a unique quote for you and that 50 acres. And it's going to be a range. It will not be an exact. And I'm also going to look at the deeds. I'm going to look at the mapping around it. I did it for Ben on his grandmother's parcel. We sat in my office for an hour and looked at aerial imagery, maps, deeds, things like that. So the long and the short is it's a unique price. They're never the same. And the even worse part is you're never going to get the same quote from a different surveyor. Because different surveyors have different equipment. They have different knowledge. They have different resources. So it's
levels of error.
It's unique. It is truly unique. And it's probably the biggest misconception of surveying is everyone expects it to be like, I'm going to take my car in for an oil change and it's going to be $59.95. That's not true unless you're doing like a city lot in Geneva, Phelps, Canandaigua, Clifton Springs, where it's a 1 acre parcel where I can give you like, okay, I know it's going to be $800.
Yep.
So this is a very good question, Bowen. Thank you.
So the old analogy, you're off by an inch, you're off by a mile.
Yeah. Like
kind of holds true for surveying when you get into larger parcels, because if you're talking about shifting that lot line 50 feet over 1,000 feet
or 3,000
you're talking a couple acres
or more.
Yeah.
Or more.
Like that, dude.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take much to shift that acreage amount.
And honestly, the bigger the acreage, like our company specializes in big farms, big tracts of land. We do a lot of stuff like that, like 100 acres plus. And the more acreage, the more money, just like anything else. But it depends.
There's more time there.
I've done a 200 acre survey in Gorham that was all ag land, and it took 4.5 hours. I've done a 1 acre survey in the city of Canandaigua, and it took me 6.
Trying to find reference and points and everything.
Just all the crap. Like, everything's covered. There's 1 million fences. Everything's covered in poison ivy, and there's freaking 1 million houses everywhere. And like, it just depends. So,
and the other one wasn't done right, or
whatever
the butt's up to it.
So, Bo, next time somebody asks you if you know how much a survey costs, just tell them it depends.
Yep, depends.
Ballpark is it depends.
I get that question a lot from folks because they're like, "Hey, my lender might want a survey." It's a totally fair thing. Happens a lot with lenders. I say it's going to be a range that I'm going to give you, and it's going to be a big range.
Yeah.
Like, I'm saying it's probably going to start around 2 and go up to probably 8.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there. That's a big range. And that's my honest opinion, is it's going to be a big range based on, does the acreage fall pretty close to the deed? I have one right now that's almost 12 acres of difference.
Yeah.
And it's like, they're sorting that out with the attorneys and the survey and all that other stuff right now. And it's just like, what we were provided, what the county's taxing, is what we advertised as what's for sale.
Yeah. So I think a big thing about the whole idea of it, and it's very true in the hunting world, is in the buying and selling, is to educate yourself. Right? If you don't know, just ask. Contact your realtor. Contact anything, but the difference is when you're spending that kind of money. Because I tell people, what are the 2 most important things that you will ever have in your life? You answer that question. What are the 2 most important things you'll ever have in your life?
Family and health.
Wow.
No, you'll have. Are you
talking?
You can put your hand on.
So it's going to be land.
Land and what?
Your house.
Nope. You can buy a new house. What's the second thing, or the other thing that you can put your hand on? Your family, right?
That's what Ben just said. You said
bourbon. No, but like,
I can put my hand on it.
But like, so I tell people your property.
You just said. I said no.
You didn't say it. I was asking
Oh,
you.
all right.
But I say that like the two most important
I would
things are
say family.
your family and your
land.
property, right? What are you going to spend the most money on? Your family and your property. So, from my perspective, if I'm spending in Gorham $12,000 an acre, $10,000 to $12,000 an acre, and I'm getting a loan for it, or what, I want to know exactly what I'm freaking buying.
Yep.
Right.
And sometimes we write that up in our offers as we're offer at 2,000 an acre, 5,000 acre, whatever the number is.
Yeah.
We're offering on a per acre as to be reflected per survey.
Exactly.
We wrote that up before.
Yep. And that happens a lot.
Totally depends on the piece.
Yeah.
So can you customize it as to if I'm buying 50 acres, how many deer are on that 50 acres?
If I had a drone, maybe.
Thermal.
But no, here's a cool part.
Going into that New York compliance shit. They don't do that.
No, but let's talk about that though, because I do surveys of a lot of that type of land, and I get to these parcels, and I immediately text Ben, and I say, Ben, I just freaking surveyed the coolest property that would be amazing for hunting. How many times have I said that to you? A lot, So
Those things loaded with deer.
Yeah,
sign everywhere. Yep.
Yeah, just like I'm like, holy crap! So like we get to see those properties, and I immediately usually text Ben. I'm like, this place is ridiculous, of how good it is. So it may not be a number, but it is. I'm out in the field and I'm traversing the entire parcel, so I kind of get an idea of what's out there with the knowledge I have of deer, which is not high, but I have a general idea of what is going on and some value there.
Sure.
And there are surveyors that will take pictures, fly drones, provide aerial imagery, things like that they do too. Not our company, but there are ones that do that kind of stuff. And to build on that a little bit, there are survey companies out there that will give you land calculations for things like wooded area versus ag area versus food plot area, and then produce an overlay image of the boundary map with a aerial imagery on top of that. And then on top of that would have your acreage of your tillable land, your food plot land, your timber land, your brush area as kind of another deliverable, and it would be accurate to the 10th of an acre. So it's kind of a cool thing that I have done for farms.
Yep.
They can use it for seed. They can use it for fertilizer. You could use it for a food plot. So you would know exactly
bedding area creation, whatever. Yep.
Whatever it might be. Like I have done that as a surveyor. So it's just kind of a cool thing that we do.
You can use those other tools.
Yeah, exactly.
Very cool.
Absolutely. Bo says, hope that question doesn't make Nate upset.
You can't upset me, Bo.
We're buddies, Bo.
You can't upset me.
Here comes the bear.
Here he comes.
Probably got to wrap her up, huh?
Probably wrap her up.
Hour and a half.
Thanks for letting me go on my rant, guys.
No, yeah. Very informative.
All right.
I learned some stuff, for sure.
We hit everything. We hit Nate's buck, 115 and an eighth, by the way.
Ooh, what? Hey!
And an eighth. We got a little extra there.
Best damn 2-year-old I've ever seen.
Hi.
All right.
I'm never going to forget that, Nate.
No.
Never.
No, I think
It can be the joke now. Every time someone shoots one,
that's
solid
just
2-year-old.
solid 2-year-old. Every deer. Doesn't matter. You got 5 years to shed with them, 2-year-old.
2-year-old.
Solid deer.
Solid.
We talked on the new deer season for quite a while. And then Nate's story with his buck and everything like that went into it was just hell of a story, and the memories with it, dude. It was awesome. Talked about my first listing and then the survey stuff with Keith. So thank you very much, Keith, for coming on and dropping some knowledge on the folks. Hopefully they enjoyed that. And then the K&M bourbon drop, teasing that again.
This Friday. 6 o'clock.
Tasting start at 4:30, drop at 6 p.m. Blah, blah, blah.
I got one of those.
You got one of those?
I stole it from you. I tell you this every year. Mine doesn't sound that good.
I'm going to steal that motherfucker from him. We were talking this the other day. They discontinued these grunt
I know
calls.
you told me that.
Yes. I'm pissed.
Sorry.
I love that grunt car. It's my favorite grunt. And I got it better. I cinched the shit out of it because it was cracked. So, yeah. So thank you everyone for tuning into this episode. I know we went a little bit longer than we normally do. We usually go an hour. This one went about an hour and a half.
It was my fault. Sorry.
No, dude, great conversation all the way around. Good stories, everything like that. And everybody tuning in. Thank you all for the support for Hunter Proof and everything like that. You guys have given us for 2.5, going on almost 3 years now.
I've known
So
you
we've
that
been
long.
doing these.
We're going on for 3 years already.
Pretty damn close, dude.
Dang.
Yeah. Well, if you go way back to like the Williams whiskey or whatever you want to call it, before, yes, we've been doing this for probably almost 3 years now. Yeah. So Bo says, please have this guy on again.
Thanks,
love
Bo.
it.
You're great.
I love it. And Dave Todd, longtime listener, client of mine, says, only thing that matters in the end is the memories. Be good, boys.
That's true.
Thank you, Dave. And hopefully, Dave, I'll see you at the K&M drop on Friday. There'll probably be something good there. We'll hook you up with something, man. I know he ended up with a Pappy Lot B this year. So,
Lucky
he
guy.
lucked out. Got a good one. So, all right, guys. Thank you all for tuning in to 100 Proof Whitetails. Keith and Nate stopping by. Hit them with a grunt. And there's still a lot of season left, guys, here in the southern zone. If you're in the northern zone, you got a couple days left. I think that ends on Friday or Saturday, the 15th, I think is what it is for the northern zone. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week here. And be safe, shoot straight. See ya.